It's Frank Fontaine's Showtime.
Vaudeville is back, give a cheer, sing a song. Vaudeville is back, it's been away too long. Play it 8 a day and work its play, Raiders sleeping. It's a gamble, yes, you're a big success when you're eating. Vaudeville is back, and we're getting in there. Private to the hat, we gotta leave this minute. Got a call to pay on the agent, hey, who is booking the Orpheum time? Yes, Vaudeville is back, and we're all gonna take a
From Broadway, from Hollywood, from the fabulous theaters and clubs of America, Showtime brings you a star-studded program of top entertainment. It's curtain time on Showtime and time to meet Frank Fontaine.
Well, who'd you expect, Jimmy the Randy? I'll give you Jimmy the Randy. I just got back from Las Vegas, Nevada. Looking at those beautiful mountains. Watching all those losers jumping off. I'm standing on a corner minding my own business. Up rides this fancy cowboy, and he hitches his horse to my nose. Was I mortified? Everybody wants to get into the act. Well, that was Jimmy the Randy, but I'm Frankie Fontaine. And I want to welcome you to Showtime. We have an exceptionally fine show for you today. Group of real showstoppers I know you're going to enjoy. But before we go any further, a message from you-know-who, I sponsor. And now we present the Bobcats. Every number with these guys is a jam session. The Bobcats with Muscat Ramble. There's one bunch of fellas, especially that Billy Butterfield. He's always rehearsing at home. The other day, he was trying out a new number, and without realizing it, he was playing a little too loud. So the landlord came in and said, "Billy, do you know there's a little old lady sick upstairs?" Billy said, "No, I don't. Would you hum a little bit of it, please?" And now it becomes my pleasant duty to present one of the best harmonica players in the world. He plays what is probably the most difficult number on the harmonica, the Romanian Rhapsody. Here he is, my friend Leo Diamond. Wrong dance. That was a Romanian Rhapsody. Wasn't that beautiful? You know, that's really a gypsy number. Do you know how a gypsy makes an omelet? First, they steal 4 eggs. No, they don't really steal 4 eggs. They steal a whole crate. You know, it's always nice to watch a beautiful gal, especially if she has talent. And I'm talking about the lovely Miss Connie Haynes. And here she is to sing one of her hit tunes.
When John Henry was a little baby, sitting on his mammy's knee, well, he picked up a hammer and a little bitty steel. Said, hammer's gonna be the death of me, Lord, Lord. Hammer's gonna be the death of me.
John Henry was a real steel-driving man. Oh, what a man was he.
Now the captain said to John Henry, gonna bring that steam drill round. Gonna bring that steam drill out on the job. And gonna walk that steel on down, Lord, Lord. Walk that steel on down.
John Henry was a real steel-driving man.
Oh, what a man was he. Now John Henry said to his captain, a man ain't nothing but a man.
Amen.
But before I'd let that steam drill beat me down, I'd die with my hammer in my hand.
Lord,
Lord, die with my hammer in my hand.
John Henry was a real steel-driving man. Oh, what a man was he.
Now John Henry had a little woman, her name was Polly Ann. When When John Henry took sick and had to go to bed, Polly Ann drove steel like a man, Lord, Lord. Polly Ann drove steel like a man.
John Henry was a real steel driving man.
Oh, what a man was he. Now John Henry said to his shaker, Shaker, why don't you sing? I'm a-driving 30 pounds from my hips right on down. Just listen to that cold steel ring, Lord, Lord. Listen to that cold steel ring.
John Henry was a real
Steel driving man. Oh, what a man was he. Now John Henry drove about 13 feet. The steam drill only drove 9. But he drove so hard that he broke his poor old heart and laid down his hammer and died, Lord, Lord. Laid down his hammer and he died. John Henry was a real steel driving man. Oh, what a man was he. Then they took John Henry to the graveyard and they buried him in the sand. And every locomotive comes roaring by, since there lies a steel driving man, Lord, Lord. There lies a steel driving man. Oh, 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 there lies a steel driving man.
Wasn't she wonderful? That Connie Haynes. You know why I like her? She reminds me of my wife. My wife happens to be a pretty woman, too. We happen to be the proud parents of 10 children. Honest. Scout's honor. You don't believe me? Well, I just happen to have a snapshot here. What did I do? Oh, here it is. There they are. The whole family. I love them. Yes, sir. The 10 kids, the missus, and even my mother-in-law. All 12 of us. I mean, 13. We Fontaines can't add, but we sure can multiply. My mother-in-law is with us most of the time. She visits us consecutively. She came to dinner New Year's Eve, 1948. It's been with us ever since. There's nothing we can do about it. It's her house. It's a small house, 2 rooms. My friends often ask me, they say, "Hey, Frankie, how do you manage 13 people in 2 rooms?" I tell them it's easy. The odd numbers breathe in while the even numbers breathe out. You know, it's a strange thing in a large family how each child takes on their own personality. I have a brilliant 6-year-old daughter. She goes to psychiatrist all by herself. You know, last Sunday she came home from Sunday school and she said, "Mommy, is it true that people come from dust, go back to dust?" My wife says, "Yes, dear. That's what the good book says. Why?" She said, "Well, I just looked under the bed and somebody's either coming or going." And now here's a word from our sponsor. That was my sponsor. Now let's relax and watch some beautiful terpsichore. Well, that's all right, lady. I didn't understand what it meant either. My daughter told me it meant dancing. And now here they are, the fancy dancing Dicatanos. dancing. The other night I was dancing with a girl. It was my wife. We were doing the mambo. The mambo is a lot like the rumba. In the rumba, you shake your torso. In the mambo, you also shake your torso. Only more so. Here are three girls that call themselves the Taylor Maids. And when it comes to entertainment, they're made to order.
On the platform, ferry line up in Seattle, where the sunshine seldom shines. Up in Seattle, all the whistles go and the bells go, and the ferry boats are chugging right along, right along. All the people love to ride the blue Pacific on the black ball ferry line. To be specific, all the whistles go and the bells go as the ferry boats are chugging right along, right along. Upon the upper deck, the view is great by heck. You love your gallop neck and your clubber. And when the whistles blow, you hate to go below, 'cause that's a signal that the fun is nearly over. On the Black Ball Ferry line up in Seattle, where every single GOP and Democrat will hear the whistles go and the bells go as the ferry boats are chugging right along, right along. Get aboard when the weather's fine. Take your pick of the ferries on the Black Ball line. There's the Illahee and the Chippewa and the Quileutes, the Kalakala. You find all these on the Black Ball line. The Kahanis on the Squally. There's the Malahat, we'll think about the Klickitat, and more than that, the S.C. Sacramento. On the Black Ball Ferry line up in Seattle, where the sunshine seldom shines. Up in Seattle, all the whistles go and the bells go as the ferry boats are chugging right along, right along, right along. On the Black Ball Ferry line.
Those Taylor Maids are attractive girls, aren't they? And how the boys go for them. Yesterday they had a fight over one man, and they were hitting each other like this. He didn't amount to much. Didn't hurt me, though. So I'd like to have you meet Carl Rabaza. And he's going to sing a song that was recently revived by Danny Kaye, Ballin the Jack.
First you put your two knees close up tight. You sway them to the left and then you sway them to the right, and then you step around the floor kinda nice and light. You twist around with all your might. You stretch your loving arms out into space. You do this eagle rock with style and grace, and then you swing your foot way out, you swing it back, and that's what they call Ballin the Jack. It's done in all the cabarets, all society now has got the craze. It's the best dance done in modern days, that is why they rave about it so. So play some good rag that'll make you dance. Old folks, young folks, all try to do the dance. Join right in now while you got a chance, and once again the steps to you I'll show. First you put your two knees close close up tight, and then you sway them to the left, and then you sway them to the right, and then you step around the floor kinda nice and light, and then you twist around with all your might. Oh, stretch your loving arms out into space, and then you do this eagle rock with style and grace. Swing your foot way out, and then you bring it back, and that's what they call Ballin the Jack. That's Ballin the
Jack. You know, occasionally I like to go to the races. And just the other day, I woke up and my son was right at my ear, yelling, "Daddy, it's my birthday, it's my birthday." And I said, "How old are you?" He says, "I'm 7. I said, "Well, congratulations. Of course, there's a birthday every other day at my house." That afternoon, I went out to the racetrack and I looked at the program, and I saw Lucky 7 in the 7th race. And I hadn't been doing too well, and I only had $7 left. So what do you think I did? Yep. I put $7 on Lucky 7 in the 7th race. You know what happened? He came in 7th. But right now, a guy that always comes in first, our sponsor. Show for this week. We certainly hope that we've put you in a good mood. Speaking of a good mood, a buddy of mine tried to put another buddy of his in a good mood. Seems though that Pat broke his leg and Mike went over to his house to cheer him up. He knocked on the door and the landlady came to the door and she says, "Yes, what can I do for you?"
My name is Pat Riley. I'd like to see my good friend Pat. My name is Pat. I come to see my good friend Mike. My name is Pat Riley. I come to see my good friend Mike Finnegan. Would you be kind enough to tell a fella what room the fella might be having, because I haven't seen him for about 3 months. She said, "Well, he's right up in the attic. You'll find him. You go to the head of the stairs and you'll find him up in the attic." He says, "Up in the attic? What's he doing up there? The last time I seen him, he had a nice room on the first floor." She said, "Well, you know, he's been awful sick and he hasn't been paying his rent, and we didn't want to throw him out in the street." He said, "Well, that's nice of you not to throw the fella out in the street. Now, how do I get up in the attic?" He said, "Well, you go to the head of the stairs. You come right to the very top and you'll see a little bit of a door. You go in the room and you'll find him." I said, "Well, that's awful nice of you not to throw the fella out in the street."
Goes all the way up the stairs, comes to a little bit of a door, bends over, looks around the room, spots Pat way over in the corner. He says, "Hello, Pat, how are you, you old son of a gun? All the fellas miss you, and they sent me up to cheer you up. They're all saying every day, when's Pat coming? How long is he? You're all skin and bones, man. You'll be all right in a couple of days. You'll be back in the job, and things will be going along just as good as ever, you old son of a gun. And you know, you're awful green looking." "Oh, you'll be all right in a couple of days. Here's some money. The fellas took up a collection for you, and you can spend that whatever way that you want." "You're either popping out of your head." "Oh, but you'll be all right in a couple of days. Well, I gotta go now. I thought I'd come up and cheer you up." "So long, Pat." And he turned and bent over and went to go out the door. And as he did, he banged his head. He turned around and said, "Well, I don't know how they're going to get a casket out of here." "Oh, you'll be all right." Well, until next week, this is Frankie Fontaine saying so long now.
Vaudeville is back.